The story of the Reformation begins not in a church, but in a heart. A king's heart, restless and impatient, pounding for love, power, and an heir. His name was Henry. His crown glittered in sunlight, but the future of his dynasty was a dark corridor with no exit. Henry VIII had everything except what mattered most to kings, a son. His wife, Catherine of Aragon, had given him a daughter, Mary, and years of loyalty, but no male heir. In a world where kings feared empty thrones more than empty souls, that was a problem large enough to tear a continent. Henry's solution began as a prayer and ended as a revolution. He turned to the Pope in Rome asking for an annulment, claiming that his marriage was cursed because Catherine had once been married to his brother. The Pope hesitated. Political pressure from Catherine's powerful nephew, the Emperor of Spain, held the Vatican hostage. When Rome said no, Henry's heart hardened into something colder. Imagine the court at that moment. Courtiers whispering, bishops sweating, a single question hanging in the air. Can a king's desire rewrite the word of God? The answer arrived in the form of a woman, clever and sharp as glass, named Anne Boleyn. She refused to be another royal mistress. She wanted a crown. Henry wanted her. Between them stood 500 years of church authority. To understand what happened next, remember this word, supremacy. Henry convinced Parliament to pass the Act of Supremacy in 1534, declaring that he, not the Pope, was the head of the Church in England. Every subject was ordered to swear that oath. Those who refused were branded traitors. Among them was Sir Thomas More, a friend of the king, a scholar who could out-argue almost anyone. When he refused the oath, he was executed. His head was displayed on London Bridge, a silent warning that even conscience had limits under royal command. Anne Boleyn was crowned queen, radiant in jewels and victory. But triumph is fickle. She gave Henry another daughter, Elizabeth, instead of the son he dreamed of. Whispers began to grow. She was unfaithful. She had bewitched the king. Within 3 years, Anne was accused, tried, and condemned. On a cold morning in 1536, she knelt before a French swordsman and prayed softly before the blade fell. Henry wore black for a day, then married Jane Seymour, the next in a line of 6 wives. Jane finally gave Henry the son he wanted, Edward, but she died from infection soon after childbirth. For the first time, the king, who saw himself as God's chosen, felt the cost of his victories. He built monasteries into ruins. Their gold melted down for the treasury. Monks and nuns were cast into the streets. The bells of hundreds of abbeys went silent. The dissolution of the monasteries filled his coffers and changed England forever. But power built on fear trembles. Henry's later marriages turned darker. Anne of Cleves was a political match that failed at first sight. Catherine Howard, young and reckless, was accused of adultery and executed. Catherine Parr, the 6th wife, outlived him and read prayers beside his deathbed. The great reformer king died bloated, his leg rotting, his dreams of control buried with him in 1547. After Henry's death, England entered a storm of faith and fire. His fragile son, Edward VI, ruled briefly and pushed Protestant reforms further. He was a child with a crown too heavy for his small shoulders, dying at 15 and leaving chaos behind him. His half-sister Mary, daughter of Catherine of Aragon, took the throne next. She burned Protestants at the stake to restore Catholicism, earning the name Bloody Mary. Smoke from the pyres curled through English skies as if the past itself was trying to rise. Then came Elizabeth, Anne Boleyn's daughter, a queen who learned from everyone's mistakes. She balanced between Protestant and Catholic, between mercy and iron. She crafted an image of unity and brilliance, turning England into a beacon of stability and exploration. Under her, the Church of England became a permanent thread in the nation's fabric. If you want to remember the Tudor Reformation for your exam, hold on to this pattern of cause and effect. A king's personal desire created a national divide. The Act of Supremacy shifted power from Rome to London. The dissolution of the monasteries transformed the economy and the landscape. The chain of heirs, Edward, Mary, Elizabeth, turned religious identity into a pendulum swinging between extremes. But beyond the policies and laws lies something that numbers and names cannot measure. It is the sound of a country learning to question authority, the sight of parchment replacing papal decrees, and the echo of a monarch daring to say, "I am the Church." It is also the cost of that courage, friends executed, faith fractured, and generations divided. Every time you walk past a ruined abbey or hear church bells ring in English air, you are hearing the ghost of that argument. Power and faith, love and ambition, devotion and defiance. Those are the elements of the Tudor Reformation. And when you face the question, what caused England's break from Rome? Remember this: behind every act of Parliament and every theological debate, there was a heartbeat that refused to be ignored. It belonged to a man who could not separate his crown from his soul. That is how a marriage became a revolution. That is how a love story became a lesson in power. And that is how England became a kingdom divided by belief but united by change.